Hello there, villagers. Welcome back to another video here in Stacy's Random POV. If it's your first time here, hi, so good to have you. If not, hi, welcome back. Before I get into the whole point of this video, I have to say that everything I'm about to say is definitively, positively, absolutely my opinion. In my opinion alone, I am not bringing you this information to bring any type of division or any type of hate or anything. However, though, you might change your mind after you realize what this video is actually about. Check this out. I'll be back.
Henrico police charged Henrico Doctors Hospital NICU nurse Erin Stratman with 2 felonies in connection with injuries a baby sustained at the hospital in November of this year. This is an 84-page report from the Virginia Department of Social Services. It outlines the CPS investigation into fractures sustained by 4 babies at the hospital in September and August of 2023. It shows lawyers for the hospital performed an internal investigation, and Erin Stratman was placed on administrative leave in 2023. At the time, she had worked in the NICU for approximately a year. She was not criminally charged back then, and it's unclear when her suspension ended. Child Protective Services listed the abuser as unknown.
They failed. Strictly, they failed on multiple different levels with multiple different families.
Do you feel like the county failed, future babies that were in the NICU at that hospital?
When we talk about what happened back in 23 and in 24, we can look at it from a standpoint of not just the individual culpability, but if there was a systems failure.
So potentially there could be even criminal charges beyond just the person that committed the acts?
If there are individuals who need to be held accountable and we have the evidence to sustain that accountability, then we will pursue it.
As you guys saw on that video, it is unfortunate what's going on in Richmond, Virginia right now. This nurse, Erin Elizabeth Ann Stratman, is a complete disaster. And honestly, she deserves to be punished by the maximum extent of the law possible. And just to highlight her felonies and what she's being charged with, I believe that she's being charged with 1 count of felony child neglect, which carries up to 10 years in prison, as well as 1 count of felony malicious wounding for an injury sustained by an infant, which carries the maximum penalty of 20 years in prison. And the lady who will be prosecuting her name is Shannon Taylor. Okay? And they put all of this together. These charges were connected to an incident that allegedly occurred in November of 2024. So this just happened last year. She's got a public defender because Ho ain't got no money. She got a public defender named Scott Cardani, who did not want to comment much about this case because he knows there's nothing he can say that'll make her look good. So authorities are saying that the Stratman was charged in connection to a single incident. The investigation is still ongoing. However, we have 4 babies identified from 2023 and 3 babies identified from 2024. However, both Henrico Police Department Division and myself have made public statement encouraging families to reach out if they believe that their babies were impacted. So they put a number there for people to call. And the public defender, no, not the public defender, I'm sorry, the prosecutor said that her office has been in touch with the families who have been identified so far. So she's saying that the 4 babies that were from 2023 and the 3 babies from 2024 are in fact working with the prosecution at the moment. That according to the Henrico Police Department, the law enforcement officials began to probe this case after the Henrico's Doctors Hospital launched an internal investigation into unexplained fractures sustained by babies in the hospital NICU from 2023 to 2024. So far, these are just the babies that they're able to get in contact with, whose parents have been complaining about this. Because let's be honest, if these babies were home and they sustained any type of fractures, the parents would be in jail. Those children would have been taken away from the parents, which is one of the big reasons I think that the parents should, in fact, sue this hospital specifically. And then I digress. So, an exclusively more heartbroken situation was the parent of twins, Mr. Dominic Heike. I'm so sorry that I butchered your name. He had twins in the hospital, and then he said he has one that his son Noah's case is one of those that has to be reopened. Apparently, this that happened in 2023, and he had his twin children. He was told that WRIC in an interview published on January 1st that his son's Noah's case is one of them that have to be reopened. He says that we want to make it clear that Noah did not have bone disease. It wasn't accidental. It wasn't from his birth. Heike said, somebody did this to our son, and we're going to find out who did it. I mean, I understand his frustration. And honestly, if you do not have compassion, empathy, and sympathy in your heart, don't do certain jobs. That's why I'm not a nurse. And that's why I chose to be an electrician, because I don't have the stomach to be a nurse or to tender for the sick, because I don't have that kind of patience. I don't have that kind of stomach, and that's okay. Not everybody is built to be in the medical field. However, I feel like when you do choose to be in your field, whatever position, whatever profession you want to do, it is your responsibility to fulfill it to the best to your capability. And I think it's sick how these children were neglected and were left to the mercy of somebody who was so unhinged and so sick that had the stomach to hurt little babies who are incapable of protecting themselves. It's obvious, you guys, that we are living in end times. We're not living in easy times. This world is so weird. This world is tumultuous. You don't know who you're living next to. Sometimes you don't even know who you're laying next to. I think all of the families should get together and sue that hospital. And honestly, they should open a different hospital for people to feel a little more comfortable to come in and be able to trust that nothing is going to happen to their children. Most specifically, their small children. But let me know what you guys think down below. You guys already know what I like to do here, what people's opinions are. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. And don't forget, subscribe. Once you subscribe, you automatically become a member of this village. You love this village. You appreciate this village because, baby, it takes a village. See you guys on my next video. Bye.
This NICU nurse has now been arrested after 7 NICU babies were injured in the hospital. And in my opinion, the hospital needs to be held just as accountable. This all allegedly started in 2023. This baby is a twin and was actually the stronger of both twins, and somehow he ended up with a fractured tibia. The parents contacted CPS. CPS came, did an investigation, and CPS determined that someone in the hospital abused this baby. Now, the Henrico Doctors Hospital decided that they would add cameras and retrain their staff. Yet this family remained at this hospital and never saw cameras installed. I'm not sure at what point they did that. There ended up being fractures on 4 different babies that summer. And somehow there wasn't a deeper investigation into that. And now this November and December, there have been 3 more injured babies. You cannot tell me that the hospital could not have narrowed this down sooner, or that there's not more that they could have done. And now this woman, Erin Strotman, who was a NICU nurse there, has been arrested and charged. She's being charged with malicious wounding. If she ends up being officially found guilty for this and she goes to prison for this, the hospital also needs to be in trouble for this. Have you guys seen that movie based on a true story of that nurse who was taking the lives of patients and was able just to keep switching hospitals? Yeah, that's all I have to say.
The judge presiding in this case denied reporters access into the courtroom, but Henrico County Commonwealth's attorney Shannon Taylor did confirm Erin Strotman was denied bond. Strotman faces 1 count of felony child neglect and 1 count of felony malicious wounding for an injury to an infant on or about November 10th of 2024.
We will leave no stone unturned.
Henrico County's top prosecutor letting reporters know her office will continue to work very aggressively into the investigation into Henrico Doctors Hospital's neonatal intensive care unit. In less than 2 weeks, one woman has been charged and arrested, 26-year-old Erin Elizabeth Ann Strotman of Chesterfield County, who was denied bond by a judge Friday afternoon.
While there has been an arrest for one person for allegedly inflicting injury on a single victim, I would emphasize this is an ongoing investigation spanning potential offenses committed in both 2023 and 2024.
The ongoing investigation centered around 7 babies in total. The hospital alerting the community online that 4 babies had, quote, unexplainable fractures in 2024, similar to an incident in 2023. The Strotman now facing charges for 1 child out of the 7.
We will continue to work on building cases if there is evidence present to build other cases to find if there's additional criminal culpability.
It makes me sick. It truly makes me sick.
Dominique Hackey is one of the 3 families who showed up to court for 3 children involved in the entire investigation. Taylor confirmed Strotman is currently being charged in connection to a child whose family was not in court. Still, Hackey says he had to show up.
Justice for my son. Justice for the other families that were affected, the other people's boys that were affected. Somebody needs to be held accountable, and it looks like that day is here.
8 News learned from 2 other families who wanted to remain anonymous that one of their twins who was being cared for in the NICU passed away. Another said her son suffered 12 fractures.
I feel very blessed with what our situation was, and that it was just a broken leg, because it could have been a lot worse. And my heart goes out to those families, truly.
Taylor confirms Strotman was employed at Henrico Doctors in 2023 and 2024 and is currently no longer. So we're trying to figure out when exactly she was terminated and what her status.
What up, Nurse Gang? What up, TikTok? So, very, very troubling story today on Nurses in the News. Headline reads, Henrico Doctors Hospital NICU nurse charged with child abuse, malicious wounding. The nurse was previously placed on paid administrative leave in 2023 after the hospital conducted an internal investigation. So this nurse was just running around the NICU, breaking black babies' legs. Let's take a deeper look into it. Henrico police have arrested Henrico Doctors Hospital NICU nurse, charging the woman with felony counts of malicious wounding and child abuse. This comes 1 week after the hospital announced it was temporarily stopping admissions to the neonatal intensive care unit after 3 babies were found to have unexplained fractures in late November and December. Erin Strotman was taken into custody Thursday and booked at Henrico County Jail early Friday morning. Bitch. Court records show the crime she accused of both took place on November 10th, 2024. Well, you just came in work and just decided to break legs that day. The circumstances of the recent fractures are similar to incidents involving 4 different babies at the hospital in the summer of 2023. Oh, you was on one then. Among those babies was Noah Hackey, little black baby, whose tibia was fractured while in the NICU at the hospital in September of 2023. The family story was shared last week on CBS. CPS founded level 1 physical abuse of Noah by an employee at the Henrico's Doctors Hospital in the NICU. However, CPS was not able to identify that employee. Henrico County Commonwealth Attorney Shannon Taylor confirmed her office reopened Noah's case and others earlier this week. Strotman was placed on paid administrative leave in 2023 after the hospital conducted an internal investigation. She was determined to be one of 2 staff persons found to have contact with all of the infants in the time frame identified, and unlike the other employees, Strotman was new to the unit and had more direct care responsibility with the NICU infants. Let her come back and assault more babies, though. Okay. However, CPS and police said they could not determine who the abuser was at that time. We have asked HCA when Strotman's paid administrative leave ended, when she returned to work, and if she's still an employee of the hospital. She's not an employee anymore, but she came back to break 2 more legs.
She fractured 7 black premature babies' bones in Henrico's Doctors Hospital in Richmond, Virginia. Erin Elizabeth Ann Strotman, a 26-year-old nurse from the NICU, broke 7 black premature babies' bones. And poor little Noah's families were afraid to hold him after an x-ray was done. Like, the parents pointed out, hey, my baby's legs look a little black. The doctor ended up doing an x-ray only to find out that he had fractures. And the parents were so afraid to hold their poor newborn baby that they did not, because they didn't want to be accused of abusing their own child when the nurse has been doing it for over a year. Are you serious? And yet she's not charged with a hate crime. Virginia, you need to do better. First of all, this is insane. How she only targeted black babies. She didn't do it to no other race but black babies. Y'all can't tell me this was not planned and this was not strategically done. This woman knew what she was doing and got away with it for a whole damn year.
You know, I told you guys a lot of fucked up stories on this page, but this one is particularly fucked. A nurse in Virginia is in jail tonight. Her name is Erin Strotman for allegedly deliberately breaking the bones of Black NICU babies. I actually think that's like one of the worst fucking sentences I've ever said out loud in my life. A nurse is in jail for deliberately breaking the bones of Black premature infants. Before you even ask, you know exactly what she looks like. She was working at Henrico Doctors Hospital in Richmond, Virginia. And according to the hospital, there were at least 3 infants in the month of November who had unexplained fractures, all of them being Black. 4 other Black babies suffered similar injuries over the course of the summer. She is thankfully being held without bond at Henrico County Jail and has a court date set in March 24th to be exact. And this is actually the craziest part to me because the hospital knew that this was going on. She was put on paid administrative leave for an entire year in 2023, came back to work, came back to her job in 2024, harmed more babies, and just now she's being put in jail? You're telling me you had a nurse that you knew was harming newborn, like neonatal infants, and you put her back on the floor? I hope these families sue fucking everybody. I hope you sue everybody. And you know, I used to get really defensive when people would say that nursing is the equivalent of cops for white ladies, but I get it now. You know, I told you guys